After last night's Toronto Blue Jays win, I owe George Springer and John Schneider a massive apology. Schneider has been coming out and saying that Springer is going to turn it around. He's getting close. He's doing a lot of work behind the scenes that we're not privy to, and he showed it last night with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and a 3-for-3 performance. He looked like vintage Springer last night, and he actually made an adjustment which may lead to believe that this could be sustainable going forward. So I'll break that down and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. What's up, everybody? Welcome into 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis. Shout out to baseballtown.ca for sponsoring this video and allowing us to make this podcast. But stay tuned for more daily content. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and give us your thoughts on the Blue Jays' performance as of late. But yesterday was a really good one. It was the best one that we've seen in a long time out of the Blue Jays, and most specifically George Springer, who went 3 for 3 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs, looking like Houston Astros George Springer, looking like World Series MVP Springer, and it was very impressive to watch, and it made me happy as a Blue Jay fan. I really hope that he can turn it around. I hope that this is a sign of better things to come for him. Very encouraging. I think he's headed in the right direction, and he's actually made a couple of adjustments that could lead us to believe that he is headed in the right direction. But let's take a look at a quote here by John Schneider just not too long ago. So this was about a week or so ago. John Schneider expressed his belief in George Springer, saying that he's probably a couple of days away from getting hot. I'm not nearly at the point of saying you're going to play 3 days a week. George is George. We have confidence he's going to get it going. Now, that seemed like a big spit in the face to a lot of Toronto Blue Jay fans, because we know the reason why George Springer is in the lineup. He's getting paid $25 million a year. He was brought in to be maybe the best player on the team, if not a top 3 player on the team, and be one of the most productive guys on the Blue Jays. He just hasn't been that this season, and he wasn't really one of their more productive guys last year either, but he was in the lineup every day, and there were moments where he would struggle. There were moments where he just didn't look good, and it seemed as though age had finally caught up to him. The bat speed was no longer there, and he just wasn't generating power. This is someone who has hit 30-plus home runs in a season. I believe his career high is 39 in a year, and ever since coming over to the Blue Jays, he's been a big-time power threat, but the last couple of seasons, he just hasn't shown that same venom in his bat, and it's to be expected. He has dealt with a lot of injuries, and he is someone that is getting older as well, so we couldn't expect George Springer to be an MVP caliber player into his age 34, 35 season. He's just not that kind of player, but you know, we were definitely right to expect him to be productive and still be a force at the top of that lineup. It hasn't worked out for him this year. He's been moved down to the 6, 7 spot. He featured in the number 5 spot yesterday in the lineup, and it resulted in a couple of home runs. So let's take a look at some of those home runs that he hit last night. Let's see it right here. Just give me a sec. So there it is. And you could see that was his second home run of the night. That was the second 3-run home run that George Springer belted. And this was the first one right here, which is not showing up. But he hit 2 home runs, very similar. The first one, he pulled it, and it just stayed fair. But it was an absolute moonshot. It was a second deck shot. And George Springer really coming alive in the past couple of games. Let's take a look at his stats from the past 7 days, and very impressive. 7 hits in 24 at-bats, batting .292 with an OPS over 1,000, and of course, hitting 3 home runs in 7 days. That'll help you with that. But he's been in the lineup pretty much every day, and he's been given the opportunity to get out of this slump. And his numbers over the course of the season, not very impressive. Not very many extra base hits to speak of, but you know, he is starting to turn the corner. And he entered yesterday's ball game with the worst qualified OPS of any hitter in Major League Baseball. And it's about time that he's starting to turn the corner. And this was John Schneider. This was his reaction after the game, who said, there's been a lot of things that people don't get to see or hear every single day. That's what we do. That have led me to say the things that I have the last couple of weeks. And what John Schneider really wanted to say after that performance is, see, I told you guys, shut up and let me do my job. But he didn't go out and say that. He took the more respectful route. Look, I don't think this Blue Jays season is on John Schneider. I'm not going to pin it solely on George Springer either, but when you are making $25 million a year and you're expected to be one of the dudes on this team and you're not, a lot of fingers are going to be pointed in your direction, and just be like wondering, why aren't you performing? Why aren't you the one to help turn this thing around? And Springer over the last 7 days has been productive, and he has been in the lineup. I do expect him to be in the lineup going forward as long as he can stay healthy. And the one change that he has made, I don't have a graphic to show you guys, but his back elbow, he used to keep it up here at the start of the season. There was a lot of movement in his swing. It was a longer swing path, and now he's brought it down a little bit. So he's shorter to the baseball, and he's generating more power. So what Springer and a lot of older players tend to do, or what Springer should be doing, I should say, is sell out for the fastball. He's still got decent enough bat speed to get to the fastball, but you know, once you throw some sliders in the mix and you're not necessarily looking for the 95-mile-an-hour heater, it's tough to catch up to it. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how great your bat speed is. So Springer needs to sell out on the fastball. And this was the other home run that I am going to show you guys right here. So let's take a look. A little bit lighter, but that was the first home run that we saw there in the first inning. Could see he really turned on that 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Carlos Rodon. You could see the relief on the face of George Springer as well. He's fired up. No one wants to do better for himself than Springer. And let's take one more look at that. You see much shorter swing path to the baseball. Show it one more time for you. Right there. Boom. It's an inside fastball. He was not getting to that a week ago. So he's been working alongside the hitting staff and trying to figure some things out here. And you could see it's paying fruition. It's right there for you. Now, one more look at this, and then we'll take a look at the other home run. Just a short swing path to the baseball. Not much movement. He has the power to drive the ball out of the ballpark. Clearly, it's not an issue for him. And this was the other one right here. Just boom, short to the baseball, not mincing any words. He's just going up there and he knows what he's looking for. He's selling out for the fastball. And then in his other at-bats, didn't really get too many fastballs to swing at. So it just shows you that he is really looking for fastballs right now, and he knows that that's where the majority of his damage is going to come from. We saw Joey Votto do it later on in his career with the Cincinnati Reds. He didn't really hit breaking balls too well because he knew that if he wasn't looking fastball, he wasn't going to catch up to it. So Votto sold out on fastballs, and he actually had one of the highest batting averages on 97-mile-an-hour plus fastball. So I think that's what George Springer and his approach is really centered towards. It's just trying to hit the fastball, getting geared up for that, and then worrying about the off speed, just reacting and fighting those off. So he got into a lot of favorable counts yesterday. He was able to see some fastballs in hittable locations, and he did damage. So I think that's the recipe for success going forward for Springer. It won't take long until pitchers start to figure that out, but still, you're going to get yourself into good counts. You're going to see some fastballs because at times pitchers are going to want to challenge you, and they're not going to want to nibble on the corners. So I loved what I saw from Springer yesterday. I owe him an apology. I owe John Schneider an apology as well, and let's hope that the Blue Jays can keep this going because yesterday's product on the field was a lot of fun, and I can sign up for that. You could sign me up to watch that product 162 times a year. I love when the offense gets going, and it makes the team a lot more enjoyable to watch. But thank you guys so much for making it this far. I appreciate it. And shout out to Baseball Town again for sponsoring this video and for being a huge supporter of the channel. Would not be possible without them. So check out baseballtown.ca or any of the 3 locations. 2 of them are in Quebec and 1 of them in Ottawa, Ontario. So check that out today. But until tomorrow, enjoy the baseball, folks.